Hello everyone, welcome back to our Python journey. In the last video, we learned about printing messages using print function and taking user input using input function, and we even touched on variables. Today we are going to make it a little more interesting. We'll take multiple inputs from the user, learn string concatenation, and discover how Python treats user input behind the scenes. And yes, we might even run into a little surprise errors here and there. So stay tuned. So to begin with, let me start by creating a new file. So I will name it string concatenation.py. I'm naming my file as string concatenation, but we are going to talk about multiple concepts today. So this is the file. So this file will be created in your current working directory. So yesterday we saw we can use this command. If you have already worked on Linux, you will be very well aware of this command, which is pwd, stands for present working directory. So this script that we created now, the file has been created inside this directory. So if I do ls here, you will be able to see the file that we just created. So now let's go ahead and start coding. So what I'm going to do is I want user to give multiple inputs. Let me clear the console. So I'm going to take multiple inputs from the user in terms of first name and the last name. So let me start typing. So I'll save the user's first name in the variable called first name. Let's invoke the print function and give a prompt to the user saying enter your first name. So this prompt, whatever you give inside the codes to input function is completely optional. It is for our understanding, but because whenever we are executing the program, the user should know exactly what input he is entering. So which is why we give the prompt, but this is optional. Maybe we can try with the second variable, which is last name. So here, let me just invoke the function without giving any prompt. And if I call the function now, so let me try executing my script manually, just how we did yesterday using Python and then this script name. So what you can do is you can type couple of characters, the beginning characters of the file name, and press tab. So this will auto-complete the file name for you. If there are multiple files with similar name, then at least try and enter the number, at least till the characters where the file name differs. So if the file name was something like string underscore concat and string underscore format, then if you give string underscore C, then it will autocomplete it with this particular file name. If you will give string underscore H, then it will autocomplete it with string underscore format dot py. So this is very useful. So let me go ahead and execute the program now. So as you can see, we gave prompt to the first input function. So it is asking you to enter the first name. I'll stick to the first name as Rose. And for the second input, because we did not give a prompt, so you just see a cursor here. So you do not know whether the program is expecting last name, age, address, student ID, user ID, what. So which is why putting a prompt here for user is important, but this will still work. I can still give the last name as Thomas and you'll see the program got terminated. So this Thomas last name has been saved in this variable, but it's just that it is not very user friendly. So which is why it's always recommended, at least in your initial days of coding, you can use the prompt. So I will update my input function prompt to enter your last name. But again, as I mentioned, this is completely optional and your function, your script will work even without the prompt. So let me clear the input. We'll execute this program one last time before we move on to other concepts. So first name again as Rose, last name as Thomas, and the program executed as expected. Now what I want you to do is I want to greet the user and welcome the user to our Python tutorial with this message. Hello, Rose, Thomas. Welcome to our Python tutorial. So this is what I want to print on the console. So as you can see, Rose, the first name of the user, which is Rose, can be replaced with the variable first name, Thomas can be replaced with variable last name, and rest of the string will remain as is. So let me try printing this on the console. So take a moment here and try to guess what the output would be. So let me go ahead and execute the program. So as many of you might have guessed, this is printing the first name and last name as is because we have surrounded that around the quotes. So which is why first name and last name is no longer an identifier in terms of this print function. It is a plain string which it is outputting on the terminal as is. So if we want to maintain the uniqueness of this variable, you want to use the first name not as a string but as an identifier, then what you can do is there's something known as concatenation. So concatenation is basically putting two strings together. So what we will do is we will terminate this hello string with this word hello and space. I can terminate it using a set of double quotes. Then we have to give a plus sign. Now you see the color of this variable has changed. It is blue. So it means now Python is understanding that first name is not a string, but it is a variable. Now what I can do is after this variable, I can give one more plus sign, again a concatenation. And in between first name and last name, I wanted a space. So this is how you can do it. So it needs to be a string only surrounded between quotes, and you can add a space. So you can add as many spaces as you want, and this is still a valid string. But we just want a single space, so this is how it has to be. Again, you see the color of the last variable has changed, and this is how it looks like. Now, after last variable, again we'll give a plus sign. We'll open a set of double quotes, and towards the end we anyways have the quote. So you see there was an error earlier, but now it is gone, and you see we have concatenated not just two, three, but five strings together. So hello space is one string, first name is another string, this space here between first name and last name is third string, last name is fourth string, and this entire remaining message is our fifth string. So again, take a moment and try to guess what the output here would be. Let me clear the screen and execute the program. So as you must have guessed already, we are getting the right message printed on the console, which is hello Rose Thomas, comma, welcome to our Python tutorial. So this is what concatenation is all about. So concatenation is all about putting two strings together, and we are doing that using this plus operator here. So plus operator in Python is an overloaded operator, meaning, let me write it so you can remember it. Meaning its behavior will change depending on the operand that you pass to it. So if I say sum equal to 2 plus 3, here plus will act as an arithmetic operator, and it will end up adding numbers that you are passing as operands, which is 2 and 3 in this case. And if we print the sum here, as you would have guessed already, this should give us the sum of the two numbers. Again, let me use this plus operator for combining the two strings. So what we can do is combine string, and here we will try to put two strings together. Again, our classic hello world, and let's print this combined string also. So just for the sake of simplicity, I am going to comment these lines. So if you want to comment multiple lines at the same time, you can select the lines and press Control/. So this will comment all the lines together. And if you want to uncomment them, then again you can press Control/, and it will uncomment the lines. So let me go ahead and comment this. Let's execute the program. Let me clear the console here. And as we mentioned, so here plus operator has acted as an arithmetic operator and it ended up adding the two operators that we passed to it. But here it acted as a concatenation operator and it concatenated these two strings, giving us hello world as the combined string. So the behavior of the plus operator here will depend on the operands that you pass to it. So if you are passing numbers, so in terms of Python, we call them integers. So if you are passing integers to it, it will behave as an arithmetic operator and it will add the two numbers. But if you are passing strings to it, then it will concatenate the strings together. So again, as I mentioned, how plus operator will behave, it completely depends on the operators that we pass to it. So I hope you are clear about the overloaded nature of the plus operator. Let me remove this and come back to our original program. Let's uncomment this and move on to our next concept. So let me clear this output. Let's run our program one last time. Thomas, and we are getting the desired output back. Now, what I want to print on the console, okay, before that, let's take another input from the user, which is nothing but the age. So we are going to ask user to enter her age, enter your age. So user is expected to enter the current age. And what I want to print here is you are, again, we just learned about the concatenation, you are age plus space years old. So this space is for between the word age and R, and this space is for between the age and the word years. So what we expected here, let's say I'm going to pass the age as 22, let's say. So what we expect on the console is this. You are 22 years old. Okay, so let's go ahead and execute this program. So Rose Thomas, age is 22. And as you can see, we are getting the desired output back on the screen. So now let's go ahead and print one more message on the console saying you will be 23 years old next year. So basically what we are trying to do here is we are going to use plus operator in both of its nature. We will be adding plus to this age, making it an arithmetic operator, and we will also be concatenating the strings using the plus operator. So if you want to give it a try, please pause the video here and give it a shot. So let's start now. So basically what we want to do here is, again, we want to concatenate multiple strings. So this is going to be one part of the string. We have the age variable here. Let's add one to it, plus, and the rest of the string can be seconds. So let me comment this. This is our desired output. And let's go ahead and the program. Again, our very favorite first name Rose, last name Thomas, age 22. As you can see, we ran into an error. So it is an error of type. So it's a type error saying can only concatenate string, not int to string. So what it is saying is this age, it has no problem with concatenating age with this particular string because age is nothing but a string here. So if you remember yesterday's lesson, we already mentioned that whatever we are going to get as an output from this particular function called input is always going to be a string and not number. So 22 here in terms of Python is not a number, but it is indeed a string. So Python is going to treat the input, even though it's an integer, it's a number, it is not going to treat it as an integer, it will be a string because that is the return type of this function input. We'll talk about return types of functions later, but for now, just understand that even if you pass numbers as input from the console to input function, it is not going to take it as an integer, it is going to take it as type string. So let me remove this. And what we have to basically do here is fix the type of age so that we can add number one to it. And then we have to fix the type of the combined result so we can concatenate it with this string. So let me go ahead and do that. So what we can do is create a new variable. This is only for your understanding, wherein we will be adding one to the existing age. But as we already mentioned, age here is not an integer, it's a number, it's a string, and we cannot add a string and a number. So which is why what we have to do here is there's something called typecasting. So typecasting is a process of converting one data type into another data type. So everything that we are talking about, string, integer, we'll be talking about float, a boolean later on. So these are nothing but data types. So data types is kind of data Python can deal with. So here we already discussed that age is a string and one is an integer. So what we have to do first is we have to somehow convert this data type, which is of type string, into an integer. So this is a function to do that. This is again an inbuilt function. So what it will do is it will take a string as an input. As you can see here, it will take a string as an input, and as an output, it is going to return the integer. So if you pass 22 as string to it, it is going to give you an integer like so. So this is exactly what we need, and to this particular integer, we are going to add 1. So if I print my future age or new age here, let me comment it because this is going to give us an error. We should see the updated age. So let's go ahead, execute the program, enter the first name, last name, age as 22, and you see you are 22 years old today, but this is the new age. So this is the future age that we want to prompt her with, and we have to put it in this message. Now let's uncomment this. And what we can do now is we can replace this whole block with this new age variable. And now let's try to execute it one more time. Again, pause the video here and try to guess what the output here would be. I will execute the program. There's Thomas 22. And you can see we again got the same error. Again, as you can see, we again got the same error. So it says can only concatenate string to string, not integer. So basically this is a string, but this is not a string. We already typecasted the age that we were getting with this input function into a string data type. And we added one to it. So the data type of new age is nothing but an integer. So what you are trying to do here is you are trying to concatenate string with an integer, which is not allowed. So again, we need another layer of typecasting here, wherein we want to convert this integer type variable into a string. And how we can do it? So just like we have int to convert string into int, we have str function to convert string or boolean or any data type into a string. So this is how it is working. This is how it looks like. So what it is going to do is it is going to return a string. So if it was 23 as an integer, if you use string function around it, it is going to return 23 like this. So this is exactly what we wanted because we wanted to concatenate these, this along with rest of the string. So let me remove this. Let's remove this also. No need to print the age again. We will print it here. Let me remove this also, this extra lines. And this is our whole program. So let's execute it one last time. First name Rose, last name Thomas, age is 22. And as you can see, you are 22 years old. You will be 23 years old next year. So what we have learned today is typecasting. So typecasting is a process of converting one data type into another data type. We have taken a look at two typecasting functions, which is string and int. So string can be used to convert integer into string, and int can be used to convert string into integer. We have also seen that plus operator is an overloaded operator, and it can add two integers, and it can also concatenate two strings depending on the operands that you are going to pass to it. So I hope these concepts are clear to you. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.